Hi, hello, I'm so glad you're watching. My name is Hope Ichirza and I am here for your proverb of the week. I am here for your weekly dose of wisdom and inspiration, and particularly looking at the proverbs and sayings from my ancestral background in my native language. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you can stay with me to the end of this video. So this week's proverb says, Akati korobi tikahendwa muyaga. Akati korobi tikahendwa muyaga. In English, this can be loosely translated as, a small soft tree is not broken by the wind. A small soft tree is not broken by the wind. And of course, like I always say, any proverb can have different interpretations depending on the context. So for me, this proverb is really talking about the importance of softness and flexibility. When you're flexible, you are also adaptable. And flexibility is a quality of being turned around, of being bent, of being twisted without breaking. You know, like this hand of mine, like this joint, you can push it this way, it will go, push it that way, it will go, and it can be twisted around, it can be turned around, and it will not break. This is just how God made it, but I think human beings, we are lucky that God made us in a way that we should be able to adapt to different changes. We should be able to adapt to new situations. So that's why it is important to be flexible and not rigid. The opposite of flexibility is rigidity. And when you're flexible, you are adaptable. And adaptability is the quality of being able to adjust to new situations, to new conditions. Just like that small soft tree that is not broken by the wind. If you are flexible, if you are adaptable, you cannot be broken by the wind. And for me in life, I think the wind, the biggest wind, is change. We experience change all the time, especially in the 21st century. There are rapid changes in our society, changes that come with technology advancement, changes that come with diversification in our families. There's so many changes in our personal lives, the new pandemics, new things come, and all that is change, and all that is what I can call the wind. So if you are not flexible enough, the wind will break you. You will fail to cope during change. But if you are flexible, you cope, you adjust. Some people are naturally flexible and adaptable, but some people are not. But the good news is that God made a person with one special thing, which is the freedom of choice. Like you can choose. And also with no limitations to our abilities. Like for example, sometimes we tend to defend our behaviors because we say that is how we are naturally made, which is not true, because a human being can choose to train in something. There are skills that you can train in, and you do them and you master them. So for me, flexibility and adaptability are the skills that any human being can actually train in and master. If you give it patience and some bit of training, and you train yourself, you can actually be more flexible and be more adaptable, and life will be a bit easier, because when you are rigid, you're bound to break. And sometimes the winds are really strong. Sometimes the change is so huge that you cannot survive it if you are not flexible. The good news is that you can actually train yourself in flexibility and adaptability and master these skills because they are very important, especially in the changing world, especially in the 21st century, because we deal with change. Like, change is our daily cup of tea. So I found some tips about how you can be more flexible and be more adaptable. And I want to share with you because I am also learning this. I feel it is interesting and I am working on my flexibility skills and my adaptability skills. So I like to learn when I'm sharing, so that if you're in a place like I am in also, and if you're interested in this, you can actually learn with me. Believe me, this is something I would want to try out because sometimes I find myself not flexible in some things, things that come around, and you want to really keep your place and be rigid about them, and sometimes you're not able. So what happens if you cannot influence a situation? You have to adapt to it. You have to be flexible, and you would rather learn it an easy way rather than being flexible a hard way, because that is hard. So let's go through some of these tips on how you can train and master the skills of flexibility and adaptability, because like as we have heard from our ancestors, Akati korobi, tikahendwa muyaga. Tip number 1: own the situation. Like, if change comes and you see that it has come, own it. Do not try to oppose it. Own it and take control of it. Get as much information about it as possible and learn about what it is actually about. Because information is power. So the more information you get about that new environment, about that new situation, about that new person, about that new pandemic, the more powerful you get. And then the information will help you to work your way around it. Tip number 2: get out of your comfort zone. Try out new things that you haven't done. Try out some new food that you haven't eaten. Try out new ways of doing things that are just out of your comfort zone. Try out new places. There are no limitations to a human being. You will not die. Just try out and get used to the situation of living a different kind of lifestyle. Try out things that scare you. They will not kill you. Just try out. They help you to be able to really adapt and be flexible and change your mind about how you look at things. Tip number 3 is listen. Listen. Now, sometimes when change comes our way, or when we are exposed to new things, sometimes we have those preset mindsets, we have assumptions. So we end up being too quick to judge because we do not know, because we have not listened. So when you listen, you get more information, you get educated about that situation. And when you listen, you suspend judgment, like you do not judge. And when you suspend judgment, it means you listen to it with an open mind. Tip number 4 is manage your emotions. When change comes, or when you're exposed to new ways of doing things, sometimes we have those very quick reactions, and sometimes we're like, oh, that is impossible. I have never heard of that. That cannot happen. Like, those are your emotions at work. But you can change them. You can decide to be like, oh, I don't know that. I didn't know that, but I can learn. Oh, I am not familiar with that, but let's try it out and see. Like that kind of emotional management. Open your mind about it and open your mind to new possibilities, to new ways of doing things. Tip number 5 is have a positive attitude. Approach change with a positive attitude because it might actually turn out to be the best, even better than what you are used to. So focus on the positive things about that change and you'll see that life will be easier. Tip number 6 is focus on the bigger picture. It could just be a wind, it's just coming, and wind will blow and go away. So do not be moved by that instant thing, that moment where that change is happening. Do not let it divert you from the bigger picture. Focus on that and be flexible. Let it pass as long as you're keeping track of, like, your eye is on the bigger picture, not on just that moment. Tip number 7, accept different perspectives. There are so many ways of doing things. So accept those multiple perspectives and accept others' opinions as well. People think about things differently. People perceive things. People look at things differently. So accept that there are multiple ways of doing things. There are multiple perspectives. And if somebody else comes with a different perspective, embrace it, accept it. Do not ignore it. Do not ignore other people's opinions or other people's. Do not look at them as if they are opponents. But in fact, give them time. Listen to those multiple perspectives and you'll see that they could help you. Tip number 8, do not try to fill all the gaps. Accept that you cannot do everything. You might not be familiar to this, but maybe somebody else is. Somebody else might have done it before. And so they might be more educated or more learned about it. So accept that you cannot do everything and let others also do some of the things. And tip number 9, if the change comes your way, be open to failure. Sometimes let others win also. Do not try to win all the time. Some people are so obsessed with winning, so they want to keep the first place ever, all the time. But with change, that cannot do. Sometimes something will come and you'll find that you actually cannot win. This time you will lose. And it's okay. Accept that you can lose. 10, ask for help. Ask for help. When something new comes your way and you don't know about it, you don't know much, ask for help. There will always be people who are willing to help. There will always be people who know something better than we do and they are willing to help. So let them help. Ask for help if you need it, especially if it is something new that you're doing for the first time or something you're not familiar with. Feel free to ask for help. You don't have to know everything. Last but not least, do not wait for the right time. Do not wait for when you have enough money. Do not wait for people. Do not wait. Take action. When change comes your way, there are only 2 choices. One is to influence it and do things your usual way. The second choice is to accept it and be influenced. And once your choice is to be influenced and you have accepted it, then you need to be flexible and you need to adapt. So take action. Don't just sit there waiting for people or waiting for money or waiting for the right time. There is no right time. The time is now. Just do it with what you have. Be flexible enough and adaptable. Bend. Allow to be bent. allow to be twisted, allow to be turned around, but just do not break. The whole idea is being adaptable to any situation that comes your way. Can you go through it without breaking? Can you change your mindset about some of the things? Because if change comes and you can influence it, fine, good for you, influence it. But if you cannot, you have to adapt to it. When you are flexible and adaptable, what other people see as a problem, you see it as an opportunity. An opportunity to learn new things, an opportunity to have things done differently. So it's like an exploration. Akati korobi, tikahendwa muyaga. Well, those are my thoughts. Tell me what you think about this. Share with me your ideas. Share with me your thoughts. And let's share wisdom. Bye for now.